All right, what's going on? So, in today's video, just kind of wanted to talk about high frequency training and just basically what I think about it, my experience with it. So, when it comes to high frequency training, I'm talking about training basically every day. I have actually experimented with it really just one time. I've trained like 5, 6 days a week, but doing like 10 days in a row, 12 days in a row, 2 weeks in a row with no rest is really interesting actually. So, when I was cutting, I did a really low frequency, which was every muscle, I would lift like Monday, and then I'd hit that same muscle on Friday, and then I'd hit that same muscle on Tuesday. So it was like every 3 days, and it was asynchronous, so it wouldn't fit into a week. It would be, it was really like a 9 day microcycle, I guess, like a 7 day microcycle. Actually, 8 days, geez. And that worked really well, but then I just kind of wanted to experiment and see what would happen if I started lifting every day with lower volume. Because when I was doing that, I was doing like stupid volume. I would do like 8 sets of handstand push ups, superset with 8 sets of rows. And my work capacity and my conditioning was actually really good. But I just wanted to experiment with the high frequency. And one thing I noticed is I definitely think that if you're going to do a high frequency approach, an asynchronous split is the way to go. So with the high frequency, you really got to take into account what muscles can you hit almost every day. And that's going to depend on the person, but I'd say for me, something like upper back and traps, just back in general, excluding the lower back, I can go ham on like every day and be fine. Go hard on like vertical pulls one day, then maybe hit like this chest expander thing or some rear delt flies, like a little chiller variation the next day. And then the day after that, hitting some rows. And then maybe the third day, another isolation-y kind of thing. And then you kind of have this microcycle in a way of like big movement, small movement, big movement, small movement that allows you to recover in between these days, even though you're training every day. Same thing. That kind of goes for every muscle group, but to be honest, you won't be able to hit every muscle group every day. So something like quads or like lower back, dude, like I could not do really hard lower back stuff every day. I couldn't do deadlift day one and then RDLs, you know what I'm saying? The front squats, like, nah. It'd be like, this is where it gets more complicated, is with like the lower body. So with legs, maybe hit like a big squat movement and then hit like a chiller hinging or hamstring movement. So like back squat and then back extensions or hamstring curls. And then the other day of the week would be like, well, I guess it's not the other day of the week. It's really like the next day or the day after that, like, in a couple days. But the other day would be like RDLs and leg extensions or maybe lunges. And then if you're really doing ultra high frequency, like full body every day, that's kind of funky. That one, I haven't even tried that one because that's actually really, really challenging to set up. So I would probably recommend doing like upper lower every day or upper lower, kind of like a hybrid full body ish, where you're doing like a little bit of something for every muscle group, but you're not going like big movements every day because that's just not going to work, especially if you're strong. So if I was going to set up the training, I'd probably do just a couple lifts every day, set it up in like a 8 to 10 day cycle, essentially, where maybe the first day, actually, I'm not going to really go into it just because that would be really hard to explain like while I'm talking, but 10 days, maybe 20 different lifts, if I'm doing 2 lifts a day. And then maybe maybe not 2 compounds, but like 2 lifts that you're really going to focus on. After that, hit like 1 isolation. I'd probably keep it at like 2 sets every day, like 2 sets per lift every day, depending on kind of basically just how you set it up. Like if you're gonna hit full body every day, that's a little different, like I said. But if you're gonna do, because when a lot of people do ultra high frequency, they'll end up basically doing upper body like every day, and then hitting squats like twice a week, or lower body twice a week. And if you're doing that, then I would just not worry about the recovery demands from your lower body as much, because you're basically just lifting normally. But if you're gonna like actually do ultra high frequency where you're lifting pretty much in between full body, upper lower every day, you know what I mean? When I say in between full body slash upper lower, what I'm saying is like you might hit like an upper body day, which on that program could be like incline bench superset with chin ups. But the reason I'd have you do it on like an 8 to 10 day split is because if you're actually going to go hard every session to like promote hypertrophy or whatever, then you can't do the same lift every time. And I know there's like this new full body, like 3-time, 4-time a week cult or whatever. And I really want to agree with them, but I actually don't agree with them on a lot of things. The way to do it, I'd say, is probably hit, you got like your 10-day microcycle. And if you hit chest every day, obviously you can't bench every day, but you still want to hit chest, so you got to do something smaller. Now, maybe don't hit chest every day, but you could probably hit it like 2 days in a row or like every other day. And I'd probably do every other day for something for like chest, quads, things like that. But that still allows you to kind of get a stimulus in the muscle, but not have to worry about the recovery demands if you change the movement every day. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would do. One thing you're going to notice is that you're going to feel like shit probably like 5 days in, and then by like the 2-week mark, it should kind of just click and you should be good. I wouldn't abuse caffeine on a schedule like this just because you're going to be using it every day. I wouldn't get insanely hyped for the sessions. I'd kind of go with the flow, honestly, and let the progression guide you and carry you. And like, this is going to sound dumb, but let it be like a spiritual experience where you're really just going with the flow. Some days you're going to feel terrible, and that's fine. Just do what you can do. Get a good pump. And you just need that rest, and you never know. And well, honestly, like if you have a day like that, in a couple of days, you'll probably be really strong, because if you do it right and you take that day for rest, and like I said, just go with the flow. When you go in with the flow in a couple of days, you're going to be really strong. So yeah, pretty much that's all I got to say. If I was going to do this in like a strength training context, I would do it at the beginning of a block, at the beginning of like a program, as like a hypertrophy phase, essentially, for like 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say, and thank you for watching.